Most people guard their money, their phones, and even their social media passwords like they're protecting the crown jewels. But when it comes to their time, the most precious, irreplaceable resource they'll ever have, they hand it out like free samples at a grocery store. They say yes to every meeting, every quick favor, every unplanned call, and before they even realize it, their day has vanished like smoke. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I said yes to everything because I thought being busy meant being productive. I was drowning in commitments, overwhelmed by the noise of other people's priorities, and yet feeling empty because I wasn't moving forward on my own. And one morning, while staring at a calendar so full it could give anyone anxiety, it hit me. My time wasn't being stolen, it was being given away. And I was the one giving it. That realization changed everything. Because once you understand that your calendar is not just a schedule, it's your life on paper, you begin to treat it differently. Every hour becomes a choice, every yes becomes a trade, and every no becomes a form of self-respect. Think about it. If I told you there was a vault filled with gold bars that represented every hour of your week, would you just let anyone come in and grab one whenever they wanted? Of course not. You'd lock it, guard it, protect it. You'd value it. But that's exactly what most people fail to do with their time. They don't see the invisible wealth sitting inside their calendars. They don't realize that each square on that grid represents opportunity, time that could be used to grow, build, rest, or create something meaningful. Instead, they treat it like an open buffet where anyone can come and take a plate. But let me tell you this. The people who rise, the ones who lead, the ones who create extraordinary results, they don't treat their calendar casually. They treat it like it's sacred, like it's gold, because it is. Every minute you own is a coin in the bank of your future, and the way you spend it determines whether you'll end up rich with purpose or bankrupt with regret. When I started guarding my time, people didn't understand. They called me rigid. They said I was overreacting. They said I was too structured. But I wasn't being structured, I was being intentional. I had finally realized that success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters most, deliberately, consistently, and without apology. And the calendar is the battlefield where that war is won or lost. Every day, there are forces fighting for your attention, notifications, people, obligations, distractions. They all want a piece of your time, and if you don't defend it, they'll take it. You'll wake up one day realizing you've been living on someone else's schedule, chasing someone else's dreams, running someone else's race. The harsh truth is, if you don't fill your calendar with your priorities, someone else will fill it with theirs. That's why protecting it isn't selfish, it's necessary. It's not about saying no to people. It's about saying yes to what really matters. It's about deciding that your goals, your health, your growth, your peace, they're worth defending. Imagine your calendar as a garden. Every appointment, every task, every commitment is a seed you plant. If you're careless, weeds of distraction will grow everywhere. But if you're intentional, if you choose your seeds wisely, you'll grow a garden that nourishes your future. Time is the soil of your life, and your calendar is the map of how you use it. I remember when I first started blocking out time just for myself, no meetings, no emails, no calls, just focus time. It felt strange at first, almost guilty, like I was doing something wrong. But that block of time became my most productive, most creative window of the day. It was where I wrote, planned, strategized, and reflected. It was where I rebuilt my future, 1 hour at a time. That's when I realized protecting my calendar wasn't about isolation, it was about elevation. It allowed me to rise above the chaos and create space for clarity. And you can do the same. Look at your calendar right now. Really look at it. Every box, every line, every hour tells a story. Whose story is it? Is it yours or someone else's? Because if your calendar doesn't reflect your values, your goals, and your dreams, it's not your life. It's a borrowed one. You deserve better than that. You deserve a schedule that reflects what you truly care about. So starting today, stop treating your calendar like an open door and start treating it like a fortress. Guard it with intention. Every yes should be earned. Every meeting should serve a purpose. Every commitment should align with your goals. Because here's the truth. Your calendar doesn't lie. It reveals your priorities, your discipline, your focus. It's a mirror of your life. You can tell me what you care about, but if I look at your calendar, I'll know the truth. So if you want to change your life, change your calendar. Protect it. Value it. Honor it. Because when you do, everything else falls into place. You'll find clarity, you'll find progress, you'll find peace, and most importantly, you'll finally start living on your terms. When I say protect your calendar like it's gold, I don't just mean block time off and color-code it with fancy labels. I mean defend it with conviction, with the same passion you'd protect your dreams from doubt. Because your time and your calendar are more than just minutes. They're the containers that hold your life's energy. Think about this. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you're saying no to something meaningful. Every moment you give away without thought is a moment stolen from your future. I used to wonder why the most successful people I admired seemed to have this quiet confidence about them. They never looked rushed. They never seemed scattered. They had time to think, to build, to rest. And then I realized it wasn't because they had more hours in the day. It was because they had stronger boundaries around their calendars. They didn't let other people's emergencies become their priorities. They understood the difference between urgent and important. They knew that just because something demanded attention didn't mean it deserved it. That's the mindset of someone who protects their time like gold. And it's not arrogance, it's wisdom. Because time is the only currency that never replenishes. You can lose money, and you can make it back. You can lose possessions, and you can replace them. But lose time, and it's gone forever. And if that doesn't scare you, it should. Every tick of the clock is a silent reminder that life is happening right now. That's why I want you to start thinking differently about your calendar. Don't just see it as a list of obligations. See it as a reflection of what you truly value. If your goals matter, they deserve a place on your calendar. If your health matters, it deserves a slot on your calendar. If your dreams matter, they should live there too. Don't wait for someday, because someday isn't on the calendar. It's a myth we use to comfort ourselves while we waste time. You want to write a book? Schedule it. You want to build a business? Schedule it. You want to become fit, learn a skill, spend time with your family? Schedule it. Because what gets scheduled gets done. If it's not in your calendar, it's not real. That's how the pros operate. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems. They don't leave their priorities up to chance, they anchor them in time. You see, your calendar is like a blueprint for your life. If you build it with intention, it will take you exactly where you want to go. But if you let others build it for you, you'll wake up living in a structure that doesn't fit your soul. And that's one of the biggest regrets people have, not that they didn't work hard enough, but that they worked hard on the wrong things. Protecting your calendar means deciding what matters before the world decides for you. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. People won't always like it. When you start saying no more often, when you stop responding to every ping, every message, every quick chat, you'll notice something. The world keeps spinning. The sky doesn't fall. The people who truly value you will understand, and those who don't will drift away. And that's okay. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to build something meaningful. Protecting your time is not selfish. It's strategic. Because how can you give your best to others when your best hours are being stolen by distraction? How can you pour into your dreams when you're constantly running on empty? Protecting your calendar is an act of self-respect. It's saying, my time matters. My goals matter. My peace matters. When you start living that way, you begin to experience a new kind of freedom, the freedom to choose. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. You stop drifting and start directing. You stop chasing and you start creating. I remember when I began scheduling thinking time, just 30 minutes each morning to sit in silence with my journal, reflect on the day, and set my intentions. At first, I felt unproductive, like I was wasting time. But within weeks, everything shifted. My decisions became sharper. My focus deepened. My stress levels dropped. Why? Because I wasn't living on autopilot anymore, I was living on purpose. That's the power of owning your calendar. It's not about being busy, it's about being intentional. You're either the architect of your time or the victim of it. The choice is yours. The moment you take ownership of your hours, you take ownership of your life. And let's be real, it's not going to be easy. You'll be tempted to say yes. You'll be tempted to fill the blank spaces with something, anything, because being busy feels comfortable. But growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from clarity. Learn to leave open space in your calendar for rest, reflection, creativity, and joy. Don't pack your schedule so tight that you can't breathe. Remember, even gold needs space to shine. Protecting your calendar isn't about building walls. It's about building wisdom. It's about creating room for what truly matters. So the next time someone asks for your time, pause before you answer. Ask yourself, does this move me closer to who I want to be, or does it pull me away? Because every yes you give takes a piece of your life with it. Be wise with your yes. Be generous with your no. You'll be amazed at how your energy shifts, how your focus sharpens, and how your results multiply when you start treating your calendar as sacred. The truth is, protecting your calendar is protecting your destiny, and your destiny deserves that level of care. Every goal you have, every dream you hold, every purpose you pursue, it all lives or dies based on how you manage your time. That's why you must protect it, not casually, but fiercely. Because your time is your life, and your life is worth gold. You know what's fascinating? The moment you start treating your calendar like gold, the world begins to respond differently. People start to respect your time because you respect it first. That's one of the most powerful lessons I've learned. The world treats you according to the standards you set. If you act like your time is cheap, people will spend it for you. But if you act like your time is valuable, they'll think twice before wasting it. Protecting your calendar is not about becoming unavailable. It's about becoming unstoppable. It's about saying, I have a mission, and every minute I own has a purpose. You see, time management isn't just a productivity hack. It's an identity statement. It says, I value myself enough to organize my life around what truly matters. Most people don't have time problems. They have priority problems. They fill their days with noise, clutter, and obligations because they've never paused to ask themselves, what's essential? They confuse movement with progress. They wear busyness like a badge of honor, as if exhaustion equals importance. But I've learned something powerful. Your calendar tells the truth your mouth won't. You can say you care about your health, but if your calendar doesn't include time to move, you don't. You can say you value family, but if your calendar never makes room for them, you don't. You can say you want to build your dream, but if your calendar is packed with distractions, you're lying to yourself. Brutal, I know. But honesty is the doorway to growth. And that's why protecting your calendar is one of the highest forms of self-awareness. It forces you to confront what you're actually doing versus what you say you want to do. And that confrontation changes lives. I've coached people who thought they were too busy to chase their goals. When we sat down and examined their schedule, it wasn't that they lacked time, it's that they lacked clarity. Their calendars were cluttered with other people's priorities, meetings that didn't matter, tasks that didn't align with their dreams. And the moment we cut that noise, magic happened. Suddenly they had time to breathe, to create, to think. Because clarity creates space, and space creates results. Protecting your calendar is about creating that space, sacred, intentional, distraction-free space where you can do your deepest, most important work. It's about giving your dreams the respect they deserve. Think of it like a vault where you store your most precious treasures. You wouldn't let anyone walk into that vault and take what they want, right? So why do we let people do it with our time? Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you're unlocking that vault and letting your gold be taken. Start locking it again. Start saying no to the noise, the nonsense, the unnecessary. I'm not saying cut everyone off. I'm saying create boundaries that protect your purpose. Here's something that changed my life. I started scheduling non-negotiables. Time for family. Time for health. Time for creative work. Time for rest. These weren't optional. They were sacred. Once they were in my calendar, they were untouchable. Everything else had to fit around them, not the other way around. And when you live like that, you start to notice a pattern. You stop feeling like you're chasing time, and you start feeling like you're commanding it. You wake up with direction instead of confusion. You work with rhythm instead of chaos. That's what protecting your calendar does. It brings order to your world. But make no mistake, it takes courage. It takes courage to say no when everyone expects yes. It takes courage to turn down opportunities that don't align with your purpose. It takes courage to protect your peace in a world that glorifies burnout. Yet, that courage is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Because every time you protect your time, you're protecting your focus, and focus is the fuel of greatness. I want you to imagine something. Your calendar is a canvas, and every day you wake up with a fresh brush in your hand. You can paint chaos or you can paint purpose. You can fill it with noise or you can fill it with meaning. What masterpiece are you creating with your days? What story will your schedule tell when you look back a year from now? Because here's the truth, your future isn't built in years, it's built in hours. The hours you guard today shape the life you live tomorrow. So protect them. Guard them like treasures. Each one is a drop of gold flowing through the hourglass of your life. Don't waste them. Don't let anyone take them without earning it. And if you ever feel guilty for saying no, remember this. Every no to someone else is a yes to your destiny. You owe it to yourself to protect your potential. When you start treating your calendar like gold, you begin to realize that saying no doesn't close doors. It opens the right ones. It keeps your path clear. It protects your energy, your creativity, and your peace. Because nothing drains you faster than a calendar full of commitments that don't matter. Protecting your time isn't about rigidity, it's about rhythm. It's about designing a life that flows instead of fragments. You want success? You want balance? You want fulfillment? Then start with your calendar. Audit it like a CEO audits finances. Ask yourself, does this appointment add value? Does this task align with my goals? Does this day reflect the person I want to become? Because if not, it's time to rewrite your schedule, and in doing so, rewrite your story. The world will always demand more from you. The notifications will never stop. The requests will never end. But your time, your beautiful, irreplaceable time, is finite. And once you understand that, you stop living on default and start living by design. You stop existing in reaction mode and start creating from intention. That's the transformation protecting your calendar brings. It shifts you from chaos to clarity, from exhaustion to empowerment, from busy to fulfilled. Because you're not just protecting time, you're protecting the life those hours could build. And that life is worth every no you give. And now, let's bring it all together. Because protecting your calendar like it's gold isn't just about scheduling, it's about self-mastery. It's about creating a life that's built around purpose, not pressure. You see, once you begin to treat your calendar like it's sacred territory, something profound happens. You start to see time differently. You begin to measure your days not by how much you did, but by how much meaning you created. You stop chasing endless to-do lists and start pursuing deliberate action. You stop living in survival mode and start living in design mode. That's when your calendar transforms from a source of stress into a source of strength. It becomes a reflection of who you're becoming. But here's the part most people miss. Protecting your calendar isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily discipline. Every morning, you wake up to a battle between distraction and direction. Every day, you're faced with choices that either build your future or bury it. And the small choices, those quick yes moments, those I'll just check it for a second impulses, are the ones that make or break your destiny. That's why your calendar must be a fortress built on clarity. You have to decide in advance what truly matters. You can't wait until the moment of pressure to choose what's important, because in that moment, you'll always default to what's easy. And ease is the enemy of excellence. Protecting your calendar means building intentional friction between you and distraction. It means planning your days so precisely that there's little room for chaos to creep in. But it also means giving yourself permission to rest, recharge, and breathe. Because the gold you're protecting isn't just time, it's energy. You can have all the hours in the world, but if your energy is drained, your focus is scattered, your purpose fades. So don't just schedule your tasks. Schedule your renewal. Protect the hours that refill your soul. Walk, read, pray, reflect, whatever brings you peace, make it non-negotiable. Because a protected calendar is not just a busy one, it's a balanced one. Here's something that might shock you. Your success doesn't depend on how much you do. It depends on how intentionally you do it. The world is full of busy people going nowhere fast. But the ones who make an impact, the ones who change the game, they're the ones who move slow enough to think, plan, and execute with clarity. They don't rush from one thing to another. They move with purpose. They protect their time not because they're afraid of missing out, but because they know what's worth missing. That's a mindset shift most people never make. They think saying yes to everything will open doors. But in truth, saying yes to everything is what closes them. When your calendar is overloaded, creativity dies. When your days are overbooked, peace disappears. When your schedule is controlled by everyone else's agenda, your dreams suffocate. But when you begin to protect it, truly protect it, you start to see doors open that were invisible before. You start to see progress where there used to be chaos. You start to see results where there used to be excuses. Protecting your calendar is how you buy your future with your present. It's how you make room for greatness to show up. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, look at your calendar with new eyes. Audit it like your life depends on it, because it does. Every appointment, every meeting, every obligation, ask yourself, does this serve my purpose? Does this move me forward? Does this align with the person I want to become? If the answer is no, then be bold enough to remove it. Your time is too valuable to be wasted on what doesn't matter. I want you to imagine your dream life for a moment, the version of you who's fulfilled, peaceful, successful, confident. Now look at your current calendar. Does it align with that version of you? Because your schedule today is the preview of your future tomorrow. You cannot live a golden life on a cluttered calendar. You can't create greatness in the cracks of your day. You must carve out sacred space for it, uninterrupted, undistracted, unstoppable space. That's where transformation happens. That's where breakthroughs are born. And I promise you, when you begin to do this, everything changes. You'll feel lighter, sharper, more in control. You'll start to notice opportunities flowing in, not because time magically expanded, but because your focus did. Protecting your calendar brings alignment. And alignment is what creates acceleration. Once your days match your dreams, progress becomes inevitable. You'll start to wake up with a sense of peace, knowing that your time has purpose. You'll go to bed feeling fulfilled, not because you did it all, but because you did what mattered most. And that, my friend, is gold. So here's how you start. Step 1, define your priorities. What are your top 3? Not 33. If everything is a priority, nothing is. Step 2, block time for those priorities in your calendar, non-negotiable time. Step 3, eliminate the rest. Ruthlessly, say no to distractions, to meaningless meetings, to mindless scrolling. Step 4, review weekly. Adjust, refine, repeat. And step 5, protect it fiercely. Don't justify it, don't apologize for it, don't explain it. You don't need permission to protect your peace. You just need commitment, because no one will value your time until you do. Remember this, every time you defend your time, you're defending your dreams. Every time you guard your calendar, you're guarding your calling. Every time you say no to the noise, you're saying yes to the next level of you. And isn't that what you're really after? Not just to exist, but to evolve. Not just to move, but to grow. Not just to survive, but to succeed. It all starts with how you spend your hours. Because your hours become your days become your years, and your years become your life. So protect your life by protecting your calendar. Guard it like gold, because it is gold. You won't get this time back. You won't get another today. So make today count. Fill it with what matters. Say no to what doesn't. And when the world tries to pull you in every direction, stand firm. You're not being rude. You're being responsible. You're protecting the only thing that truly belongs to you, your time. So from this moment forward, promise yourself this. No more wasted days, no more aimless yeses, no more borrowed dreams. From now on, you live with intention. You plan with purpose. You protect your calendar like it's gold, because when you do, your life will shine like gold too.